The one guarantee when we are brought into this life is that one day we will have to leave. This thought is enough to cause the most fear in some of the most sound people, to the point where a lot of people forget to live because they're too worried about what happens when they die. Luckily for spiritualists and the work of Dolores Cannon, we have a nice insight of what happens to the other side. So, sit back, relax. Everybody, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. My name is Ken, this is Phoenix Rising, and today we're going to eliminate fear. So, as per usual with these types of videos, I want to preface it by saying that all this information can be found through Dolores Cannon's teachings. You can find her information for free through some of the various interviews she's done on YouTube. Additionally, you can also find her information through her books. The one that I would recommend you start with the most is Between Death and Life, as that is specifically what this one focuses on. So first off, what is dying? Well, obviously, we know it as the thing that happens when we leave this earth and cease to live. However, I like to refer to it as the easiest thing we'll ever do. Why do I say that? Well, if you listen to anyone that has ever had a near-death experience, and they actually remember it, 9 times out of 10, pretty much, I don't know why I say 9 times out of 10, because I have never heard anyone else say anything of the contrary. They don't want to come back. Okay, so the people who have had bad experiences, right, and they're like walking through the pits of hell or what have you, they are the ones that are like, I'm so glad I'm back and now I'm a believer. Those that have been in this calm state and pretty much echo what is in Between Death and Life, those people are the ones that don't want to come back. It might seem scary because it is unknown, but as I have said in the past, is that the unknown is only unknown for as long as you let it be unknown. Now, I'm not saying here in this instance, go and, self-harm, like actually try to achieve that state. Don't misconstrue that. That is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is if you have fear of any kind, related to anything else that is feasibly focused on and dealt with and faced, it will soon be known and it will not be anything to fear. Hold on, I have a crying fucking cat. What the hell? What the hell? What are you doing? Come on. If you want to be in here, get in here. But you gotta be quiet, you gotta be calm, you gotta lay. Want to say hi to the camera? Want to say hi to everyone? Such a sweet boy. We're going to set you right over here. So the point, essentially, is when you face your fears, face whatever it is that's unknown, it suddenly is no longer scared anymore. And you wonder why. Let me fix my hair. Why you ever let yourself fear it for as long as you did. So, hypothetically, you kick the can. Okay, so you are donezo, obliterated, no longer of this earth. What is the first thing that happens? Well, that depends, because what are the circumstances? Were you confused? Did you depart in a way that left you yearning to do something else? Because if that's the case, you might return to your place of residence, right? But time and space work completely different over there. So you might return and it's a completely different era. And you're like, what happened? Why is everything so weird? And then you might be scaring a new family. But once you actually understand that you cannot do what you went there to achieve, you will then go to the afterlife. Now, for those of you that knew it was coming, or for those of you who your spirits, your souls are well versed in this, right? Maybe you've been here a couple times, couple 10s, 20, 30, who knows how many times you've been here. Who knows how many times we've all been here. The point is, say you can come here a lot of times. And if you're well versed with that, then you just skip right to this next part, which is you go through your life review. You go to the other side, you start your life review, you go through birth till now, what you did, everything you did, involving everyone that you did it with. Every single second, every fight, every interaction, you get to see that from the other perspective. Not only do you get to see it from the other perspective, you get to feel what they feel. You get to feel how they felt, what their intentions were, how you reacted, how it made them feel. Why do we go through all of this? Because the point of this existence right here is solely to learn. You have the God source up here that projected out and made everything in existence work and happen, and it wants to learn, so it sends out, and we are pieces of that source that are learning, and we are going through this repetitively as we go through multiple states. We have to go through a lot of different levels before we come to this human existence, and here is one of the toughest existences imaginable. It's chaotic. Right, we got a lot of energies going back and forth all over the place. This is a dense environment. The rest of existence and the different dimensions and like the spirit side and everything, that's nowhere near as dense as this. This is a dense, harsh place, physical place, and it's chaotic, unbalanced to the exact definition, basically. So we're here. We go through life. We learn something, maybe, if we're reflective along the way. And then we kick the bucket, we take that experience back with us into the afterlife. And, we talk about it. Over tea with our departed loved ones. And then we wait. We wait and we heal. There are schools over there, there's libraries, there's the Akashic Records. There's a ton of stuff to do, apparently, over there. It's a pretty cool place to jam and hang out, right? But ultimately, it's a very peaceful place. They have a place that is referenced and brought up by thousands of people that Dolores Cannon put under hypnosis, and that is called the Healing Area. It's basically a spot where souls that went through the most damage go to just rest and go to heal as they prepare for inevitably coming back. Because if they've been there, they've probably messed up or been through too much trauma, and they now have a ton of karma that they have to work off. Well, unfortunately, if you didn't have a good enough time this go around, hopefully you do better next time. But here's the thing to take away from this. There's infinite amount of time. If this planet were to go away, there are other planets and other stages of development similar, specifically for that purpose, for schools. Again, the point of existence is to learn, and we learn by having multiple existences. I don't know how else to explain that more clearly. So you're in the healing place, or maybe you become a guide. As I said before, in our most recent meditation, when you're calling forth your protectors and your guides, loved ones were also in that, in the departed, your departed loved ones. You can call them forth to be your guardians or your guides. You can call upon them for advice and protection, and they are always there. I know this is a thing because not only was I invited. Not only was I visited by my grandma after she passed away, it was Thanksgiving. I felt her presence come through my door and say, "Hey, I love you." I heard her voice off in the distance. I was half asleep. And I remember I just woke up and I looked up and I said, "Grandma?" And I was just like, whatever. I'm imagining it. That's my default. I don't know why even today that's my default. I'm imagining things, but that's what I say to myself. But it wasn't until later when we were sitting at the table, all my uncles are around, and my mom just blurts out after having half a glass of wine, "Grandma visited me," or it's not grandma. She said, "Mom visited me today." And I just stood and stared and I was like, no way. Just the awe in my face, because it's validating, right? I've had multiple paranormal experiences that were shared between me and family that is, also a validating experience. So it's not something I'm foreign to. Likewise, after my mom passed away, she came to check on me, just to check on me. I was asleep. It was a couple months after she'd passed, and I was in and out of sleep, and I felt her presence just standing next to me on the bed, beside the bed. It is those instances that help me double down when I say that they are available, they are here to help you, and all you have to do is call upon them. Sometimes you don't even have to call upon them. Sometimes they can just come to check up on you, sense how you're feeling, and come to check up on you. And that can be done in a number of ways. You just maybe get a hint of their perfume that they used to wear, or you just feel that presence that they used to evoke from you. Just something very familiar about them. And then you remember them, and there's a little tinge of sadness because you miss them. The point is that after you are in that spot as well, your loved ones can also call upon you in the same manner. Or you can also come across, be with them, love them, try to help them, whatever they're going through. I know this is all kind of a wild concept to talk about, and it does tie into the theme of this week, which is fear. One of my dear friends recently told me that my work has been inspiring her to get back into this whole practice of spiritualism. That she's felt the urge for a while, but it wasn't until she'd seen my action and my work that she was really propelled into doing it, which is probably the greatest honor that I could ever receive doing any of this, is that I inspire anyone to do anything. But she is fearful of otherworldly beings, other entities. Now, in passing on, we don't become more powerful, right? It's not like Star Wars. It's not like becoming a Force ghost. We are very powerful here. And there are a lot of entities that are tied to the earth that want what we have, and they will come to us and they'll act like this benevolent being, and they will promise a lot of things, but they are not departed people. They are not departed loved ones. And I know what a lot of religious-minded people would call them. They'd call them demons or jinn or whatever religion they're tied to calls them. However, what a lot of them are just lower vibrational, earthbound sprites that are not spiritually developed and therefore are not ready for this experience, but they see it and they are tied to this very dense physical place, and they desire that, right? They desire that experience, so they come to us. They try to trick us. They try to wear us down, oppress us, act out, right? And then they come to you and say, "I can offer you this. All you have to do is let me take over." And then if you say yes, then of course they'll take you over. but you ultimately can drive them away. And that's the tool that I gave you all on Monday. With Meditation Monday, I gave you the power to bring out your light and repel that darkness. It's going to try until you say, sorry, no can do. And then it will go away. So if that's the case, then why do the religious-minded folk go through, like the demonic possessions and all of that stuff? Well, it is because fear. As I just said, they cannot do anything to you without your permission. That fear is granting them permission in a sense over and over. They will get stronger and stronger because if you fear it, you have to believe in it. You have to believe that it is capable of all these otherworldly feats to be able to fear it. So you break that fear. That illusion goes away. Their power, their influence, their control is no longer there. They might lash out. Sure, let's say this oppressive environment's been going on for a while. You suddenly change. They're getting starved. They become angry. They lash out. What are they going to do? Throw some pots and pans, slam some cupboards, flick some lights on and off. Can you imagine just a tiny toddler doing all this in a whirlwind of destruction? Suddenly, it becomes kind of humorous. What are they going to do? Claw at you, scratch you? Have you ever been scratched by a toddler? Yeah, it sucks. Is it going to kill you? No. And that's the most it can muster. It knows what you fear, and it tries to make you think it's this gigantic thing, right? It's nothing. How do I know this? Refer back to Meditation Monday. It needs you. It sought you out. If it is seeking you out for something, it requires you to get what it wants. You, it. You're more powerful than it. It wants what you have. And instead of being patient and trying to learn, as Source would allow us to do, beings from the God Source, we are a part of it. We try to learn. That is why we're here, having this physical experience. We're powerful. We have free will. These things are very low vibrational, and they want to have that physical experience so bad that they're willing to do anything to get it. But what will they do when they actually get it? Well, we've seen what happens, right? It's well documented what goes on. And those individuals that have succumbed are so religiously fearful that they gave it that power, which granted it permission, because if it is this entity and it has this much power, I must be helpless against it. Not the case. That's absolutely not the case. You are more powerful than any lower vibrational entity could ever hope to become. And I want you to keep that in mind if you're interested in astral projecting, if you're interested in meditation, or if you're worried that practicing this is going to cast you to the depths of hell. It's not. It's not. And if you want some further clarification, I would definitely recommend to look up Dolores Cannon. In fact, I'll do you one better. Check the links in the description. I will have some interviews that Dolores Cannon has done in the past. She describes my views on religion to a T. Very validating experience that I had in finding her. And that was one step to shattering the fear mechanism that I had. I'll never forget. I'm going to share a personal story right here. There was one time that I was trying to astral project, and this was back in 2019. And I'm calling forth all of my spirit guides, all of my protectors. We're getting everything set. This is before I knew who Dolores Cannon was. But I'm getting all of this set, and then all of a sudden I heard this little voice, this childlike voice, ask, "Can I come with you?" And immediately alarm bells. I didn't call forth this individual. I have no idea who this is. So I replied, "No, I'm sorry. I don't know what you are, who you are. You cannot come with us." And it growled just this very guttural, and then it told me, I'm not going to reenact this voice, but it basically was just like, "You are going to regret upsetting Bathsheba." And okay, number one, that name triggered in my memory. Bathsheba was the name of the witch from the first Conjuring film. So there's part of me like, did I pull that out of the depths of my mind? I know that entity probably still exists on this plane somewhere. And maybe it was a mind form that gave it life. I don't know. I need to look up more about mind forms. And when I'm referring to a thought form, I might be calling it wrong. I'll put what it is here. But basically, if you look up something called the Philip experiment, that's what I'm talking about, where our mind gives something life. But either way, regardless of what that entity is or what gave it life, it still was the name that was said to me. Getting back to the story, of course. So what I want you to take away from this story, from everything that I've discussed here today, the main takeaway, our minds are very powerful things. Yes. There are entities out there that are beyond our frequency of seeing physically, of being able to interact with. Energy is a very interesting thing. And ultimately, you, as your physical being, cannot be controlled by anything that is lower in vibration as long as you do not give it permission. You're powerful. You're beautiful. You're physical. And these lower vibrational entities that are tied to this dense planet want to experience that. Unfortunately, it's not likely that they're going to be able to do it anytime soon. So we got to deal with them while we're here. Best thing to do, acknowledge their existence and not care about it. That was the biggest struggle that I had with all of my paranormal activity when I was a kid, leading up until even recently. It wasn't until my spiritual progress over the last 3 years and actually completely healing from all the traumas that I've experienced in the past that I was able to actually pull this light out and get it to go away. Now, I can even say that, I'm more powerful than it. I know it exists, all this stuff. Don't be afraid of it. But when that room goes icy cold and you feel the gaze on you and your human brain tells you there's something there and there is not anything there and you feel like you're in danger, I understand all too well how hard that is to just level your mind, level your emotions, breathe, activate your kundalini, and bring your light out. I understand how difficult that can be, but it is possible. And remember what I told you on Meditation Monday. You are never alone. To double down on what I have discussed with you all here today, what I am going to do to round out the elimination of fear, which is the theme for this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over paranormal experiences that I had for Freeform Friday. I know it's something I've talked about in the past. I've alluded to all of the paranormal experiences that I had, and I know another talking head video, but that's pretty much what I do here now anymore. So get used to it, I guess. What I want to do is to drive home the fact that it is possible to overcome any sort of haunting that you're experiencing and to face any sort of ghost or paranormal entity, and that you have the power to drive it away. Now, there is one more thing, very quick, that I will mention before we wrap up, and that is that if your environment is very messy, that is a reflection of internal, right? That is, you gotta be in kind of a dark place, even if you feel like you're fine on the surface. If you are living in squalor and filth, that is a reflection of how you are internally. That environment actually attracts entities such as this. So clean up, fix whatever you have to fix internally so you can fix your external world and experience. Then, once you get that clean, you will feel the energy shift. Use your internal energy to amplify that, and that will help you on your way. But honestly, guys, that's all I have for you here today. I am really excited now that I'm thinking about it to actually talk about all of my paranormal experiences. I've actually planned on multiple paranormal projects in the past, but I've never wanted to focus on it. It is only now, after I've completed all of my healing, that I feel very comfortable talking about it. So make sure to join us this Friday on Freeform Friday, 6 p.m. Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, of course, 5 p.m. Central, where I will bring you all of those spooky little stories. Maybe I'll even set it as a premiere and hang out with you guys. I don't know. We'll see. Well, anyways, guys, I am out of here. My name is Ken. This has been Phoenix Rising. Never forget how powerful you are. Never forget that you're not alone. And never forget to embrace the light and spread the light. I'll see you guys next time.